So like, just make sure you speak like loudly so it picks up on the mic.
Sure.
Alright. Can you explain what you've been working on and what your role is?
So I've been working on a video game for a game development course, and I'm working as a programmer. The game is about flying around as a seagull, picking things up on an island, trying to get more things than your opponents do.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what like some of the inspiration was behind this game?
Not really sure what the inspiration was. The group leader, the person who presented the idea for the game, basically just said that she found seagulls pretty interesting. She always hates going to the beach and having seagulls like fly after you and everything. She wanted a game where you get to just be that seagull.
Alright. So like there's programmers and the group's divided among programmers and animators. What's the real difference between them?
Well, the programmers work more on the making sure that everything works. So, being able to actually move around the seagull and everything, whereas the artists get to make the world, make the seagull, and make everything really look nice.
So a big part of your project involves like staring at screens. That's pretty much all it is, right?
Oh yeah, for hours.
Yeah. So like, how would you say like that? Like you guys kind of like work on your own a lot too. How would you say that screen work impacts teamwork and cooperation among like your peers? And then you can refer to like this one and like back when it was like your idea too.
Yeah, well, most of the time when we work, we're working in a room together. Even though we are looking at screens, we can all talk to each other, make sure we understand that we're all on the same page. And even when we're not, we are using a group chat through Facebook to communicate with each other. So there is constant communication within the group, even though it is looking at a screen for hours.
Yeah. And like how quickly is the communication when like it's through like when you're not together?
It's a little bit slower,
Yeah.
which is to be expected. You can't constantly talk to somebody while you're working. But the big thing is the artists are never going to be working on something that the programmers are working on, which is fine. So as long as Jim and I, Jim is the other programmer, are letting each other know what files we're working on, it's usually fine to do that.
Did you say Jim or Jen?
Jim.
J-I-M? J-I-M?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So would you say like this form of communication more efficient? I didn't ignore that. That was something else. So these are like back when like you were telling me about like the problems you were having like earlier in the group with your previous group. So, yeah. So you would say like the Facebook chat is like actually like a pretty efficient mode of communication.
Yeah.
It's like screen communication.
It's definitely better to be in a room with the group and communicate like, I guess firsthand than it is through Facebook. But the group has been very, very good at communicating even when we are working on our own.
Yeah. Do you see like any like have there been like any like real problems with this form of communication like when you're not in the room together?
None that I can really think of. No, I think it's been fine in this group.
And like, how would you say like the bulk of your work gets done either when you're together or when you're separate?
It's generally we all agree on what needs to get done that day, and we just try to get it done. Really.
Okay.
I mean, right now the artists are each working on their own island, which is going to add more maps to our game. And Jim and I are basically just finding slight bugs or something that doesn't quite work as well as it could, and making sure that we fix those.
How would you compare like this group project to group projects you've had with other classes?
So with other classes, you're working, well, for me anyway, I'm working with people who are all in my major. So it's been really interesting to work with a group that's half art majors and half comp sci majors, just because I have noticed a bit of a difference in how we think and talk to each other. So it's been really cool just to see what I want to do, which is game development, through another lens.
Is everyone in like your group like on like the game development type track or?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're all on the game development track.
Meanwhile, other classes they're kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, most of my other classes are just comp sci focused, whereas this is specifically for game development.
Okay.